Very good morning, Divine Family. It Om Shanti, very good morning, Divine Family. So it gives me immense pleasure to welcome a very special guest today, Sister Ami Trivedi, a senior Raj Yoga practitioner and a teacher from Sydney, Australia. For over 30 years, Sister Ami has been practicing Raj Yoga. Um, she was inspired by the power of inner peace and happiness of living a life of service. Along with her professional role as a technology architect, she beautifully balances her spiritual life, managing a meditation class in Sydney, offering meditation seminars at organizations and communities. So it appears that she is someone who truly lives what she teaches. So today, she's joining us to guide us a session on deeply meaningful topic, construct life through remembrance. We know that there's no Murli without these word remembrance, right? So it is through this remembrance that our destiny is really shaped, right? So without further ado, let's welcome Sister Ami with a warm heart and an open mind to share her wisdom and her experience with us. Sister Ami, a very warm welcome to this Avyakt Murli Club. Om Shanti, and over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brother, for that warm introduction. And Om Shanti, and very good morning to each of Baba's beautiful jewel from Baba's garden. It'd be great to hear either through chat or where you are joining from, so I can get a feel for this angelic family that I'm meeting today. Just maybe if you can put your the name of the city or location that you're joining from. And because it's a small group, I think we can keep it interactive. So feel free to come off mute, ask a question. I know there's going to be time for questions at the end. And yeah, we can churn together on this topic. Wonderful. Kerala, wow, and Gandhinagar. Wow, this is a India-wide club by the looks of it. Okay. So, oh, Mumbai. Yes, Sister Aki joins from Mumbai. Very nice. Well, look, it's really a privilege, to have this opportunity through, as we say, the Zoom Dham, to meet like this. Otherwise, imagine how much of organizing it would have to be to meet in your various locations and, connect. So really, Baba's knowledge and our family brings us together. And then Zoom provides that even a layer on top to make it that much easy to connect. Yeah, so when Sister Raki reached out, it really filled my mind with a lot of memories. There's Sister Raki, as she says, is from Mumbai. I took my spiritual birth in Mumbai. Wow, we've also got from Karnataka. Wonderful. So yeah, it's wonderful to be able to, especially share with Baba's children from our eternal land of Bharat. So I thought, well, before I share my thoughts, I'm going to do a little quiz. The topic, as you know, is remembrance. So I know you all probably remember Baba a lot, but I'm going to test to see how much you remember of, because I understand you haven't heard today's Murli yet. So I'm going to test you on how much of you remember from Baba's Murli from yesterday. So you can again put your answers in the chat. So my first question is going to be, Baba yesterday in the Murli talked about different keys. Do you remember what were those keys Baba talked about in the Murli yesterday? See, I'm sure this
Yeah.
does not happen in your Murli club, does it?
One is living key,
Huh?
which can be used, a living key, which can be used to wind up the toy, which
Yeah,
is of the body.
yeah, yeah. So yes, that's right. So what Baba talked about, the soul being the living key and the body being the toy. Yes, that's good. That's 50% of the answer. There is another key Baba talked about yesterday. Okay, so I'll give you the answer. Baba talked about Srimad as the second key. That with the key of Srimad, Baba, you know, I don't know how many of you played with those toys when you were little, but I still remember having a toy like that that you will wind up and then, you know, starts dancing. So that winding up of, you know, what Baba does to us is that through the Srimad. So next question I'm going to ask, and yeah, feel free to come off mute or use the chat as well. You know, Baba says remembrance, remembrance. Other than Baba, what else do we have to remember? Tricky question. Brahma Baba. Yes, that sort of comes with Baba. What else?
Sudarshan Chakra, 5,000 years journey.
Brahma, yes. Yes, sorry, brother, what did you say?
Yeah, 5,000 years journey, Sudarshan Chakra.
Yeah. So Darshan Chakra, yes, my part. Yes, I am a soul. Wonderful. I am a soul. Drama. What else? What else do we have to remember? When we say you know, we always say we remember Baba, but where do we have to remember Baba? Yes, we remember Shiv Baba, but where?
Parandam.
Yeah, so we have to remember our home as well, right? So Dadi Janki used to say it, yeah, Paramdam, that's right, Brother Om, yeah. So, you know, I remember Dadi Janki sharing this, and it's really stayed with me. And I have, you know, it's become a quick formula for me to, you know, reset or reconnect with remembrance. And Dadi used to say it is ask yourself this 5 questions. Has anyone heard this one before? What Dadi Janki's 5 famous questions are to ask the self?
मैं कौन, मेरा कौन, मुझे क्या
Yeah,
करना है?
exactly. Yes. Who am I? मैं कौन? Then मेरा कौन? Who do I belong to? Third one, where
मुझे
do
क्या
I come? But
मुझे क्या
before that,
करना?
yeah, what do I have to do? But where do I come from? You know, मुझे क्या करना है? And then is another fifth one. Who remembers? Where am I going? You know, so 5 questions again are who am I? Who do I belong to? Where have I come from? Where am I going? And once you answer all of that, the fifth one is what do I have to do next? Mhm. So you can make a note of these 5 questions. And really, I think Dadi has beautifully summarized with these 5 questions what is that we have to remember. So I know you said, brother, that Swadarshan Chakradari, that's, covered in this, that you look at all the four aspects, so, and these five questions are also very good when, say, you sit for remembrance, but your mind is wandering here and there. There is a lot of waste thoughts going. These five questions, like, in the scriptures, as they say, with the Swadarshan Chakra, Krishna was able to chop the neck of all the devils. With this, you can chop the neck of all the waste thoughts. So, yeah, remember that. So, my next question is, what happens in remembrance? What happens for you in remembrance? When you sit to remember Baba, what happens?
Sometimes mind wanders.
I know this, yes. Yes, true. And what do you do then?
A little bit of fighting take place, right? Bring it back on track. Laboring, Baba would say.
Yeah, yes, yes. Yes, wonderful. You receive powers. Yep. What else?
You are charged.
Yeah, you receive. Yes, you're charged. Battery gets charged. Yeah, again, yesterday, Murli Baba was playing with those words. The battery gets charged, petrol gets put in, you know. Yeah,
And there is a soothing experience. You
yeah,
stay.
that's right. Experience of love. Yeah, solution comes to mind, clarity comes to mind. Yeah, you see paradise. Yeah, takes us away beyond this world. Yes, very true. Yeah,
You
have been
get
a,
uh, you get
huh?
visuals. You get visuals, like you see something and all. A visual is created in your mind in
Yeah,
remembrance. A lot
yeah,
of we start seeing things. Maybe it's just a visual. A kind of pictures are created in the mind.
yes. But I would say on that, sister, is my experience is remembrance is a very proactive process. So by that, what I mean is I have to create the visual, not let the mind create the visuals for me. Because what happens is when I create the visual consciously, then I can then create that feeling and that experience. But if I sit there and let the mind create the visual, sometimes, like as the brother said, the mind is laboring in waste thoughts, and as often we experience when we're in deep sleep, we get, sometimes dreams which are all conjured up images from, I don't know what I saw, read, experienced, and it all gets mumbled, jumbled, and comes up in some funny visual. So often there is that thing also in meditation that if I just let things happen to me, then the mind, will be creative, and it's just random things. It's not really going to give you a gyan yukta experience. So it's good to understand that little bit of fine nuance that I have to create the visual.
Yeah, but what even I feel is you said I should create visuals, right?
Mm,
That happens. The other thing happens when we, go across this guided meditations, or when we
mm,
listen, they say, sit down, you're a point, now you're going. When such kind of guided meditation is given, then the visuals we don't construct. It's
mm,
something like pictures are given, right? But see, now suppose I just want to think of my mother. That's also remembrance. When I
mm,
think of my mother, I can see her. I can see her, her lovely sari, her the way she sits, and memories come. So there's no
mm,
question of who I am creating or what is being created. It's natural. So
Yes,
it's
that's, yeah.
absolutely natural. When I have to think of my mother, I don't need any picture. I don't need anyone to come and give me a commentary to see, can you say, like those days it was there. You remember those days when meditation was there? They used to say, you want to think of Krishna? Okay, now come and see his lotus feet. Then go up, see it. So that was just given uh, to teach the mind. But I think, in spite of that, you can have a natural way of visual. I have never thought that somebody is creating for me. I think it's more natural.
Mm. Wonderful. Thank you for your thoughts. Yeah. So, one other contribution I want to make on this is, in remembrance, as the sister shared the example of remembering mother, another thing that happens is a meeting takes place, a meeting of whatever relationship you are seeing, Baba, whether that is as a child and a father, a friend, a partner, beloved, whatever that may be, when we sit in remembrance, that meeting takes place. And in that meeting, then yes, there is that happiness. We feel, everything lifted of us, and yeah, very joyful, beautiful experience. Mm. Now, promise this is last question. Is when do we have to have remembrance? And if you remember in particular, yes, what did Baba say in the Murli yesterday? When do we have to have remembrance?
To become pure, to go back to our original state, to
No,
become
when,
Sarvapradhan.
not why, when. Always. Yes.
Can that
Yeah.
be a question,
Uh,
sister? Like, I think it's just something, yeah, sometimes, as the brother said, whenever we face, but taking my same example of mother, when something close to me and her, there may be some kind of time aspect or something close to me and my mother, which, yeah, suppose I'm having my food and they'll say, oh, Amma used to make something better like that. It's sometimes I feel something of hers which touches me and all. So I don't know, but still, I don't know
mm.
what was your question.
My
Are you
question
just
was
saying
when.
no?
When do we have?
No. So here it's also dependence whom I'm remembering, what I'm remembering. If it's remembering God, there
That
has
is
to
what,
be.
yeah.
I'm remembering God. So there has to be, see, my mother, I know. Yeah, I needn't draw, I needn't be a painter to go and draw a picture on her. But remembering God, there is some kind of a prescription, a knowledge, a condition. So I have to follow that. So I don't know, but like it should be, as sister said, always, but somewhere I feel it just is like a matchstick. When you think it, fire comes. I think the remembrance. I don't know
I love the
how to answer
analogy.
that question. The
That's
question
okay.
is
It's just to trigger
whether
some thoughts.
always, see, always I don't remember. Let's just be, I don't think 24 by 7 it's there, but it's something inside. So I have to just
Mm.
do the tickle and it comes, I think.
Mm.
Um, a
Wonderful.
question which I really want to answer with caution.
Yeah. No problem. This is for us to, really reflect for ourselves first to see, hey, when is that and so good you pointed out the remembrance actually we're talking about today is, those aspects of the 5 questions, but in essence, it's really that remembrance of Baba that, yeah, we're covering today. So, Amrit Vela, beautiful, all actions as we perform. Exactly, that was what Baba was saying yesterday, that while eating, bathing, and doing everything, And, you know, as Sister said, it's, you know, if we honestly ask ourselves, are we able to do that? You know, are we able to remember Baba while doing everything? I imagine the answer is no. You know, and I remember thinking about this a while back, and I thought, how can I really embed Baba's remembrance more and more in everyday life? You know, I think why, if I ask myself why that remembrance gets forgotten, you know, and why remembrance is that awareness, the awareness of Baba and who I truly am, where am I going, what I have to do, how I forget that. You know, it's because my experience is, it's like I, the soul, I'm at a level here today with my level of purity, with my level of knowledge, experience. And Baba, where he is so way still, you know, in terms of there's such a big gap between me and where Baba is. And because of this gap, you know, the remembrance, that awareness gets forgotten. And that's where, you know, the way I understand it, the effort is really to close this gap. So once, you know, as the gap reduces, then it's like almost, you know, we start operating in that same wavelength. And I have had that fortune of seeing our dadis in action, our didis in action, and, you know, really they have been a living example for me how that's been possible. You know, um, like many stories of Dadi Janki come to mind, you know, where Dadi would be in a one particular place, and all of a sudden Dadi will change her plan like this, and Dadi will say, rather than, you know, go to this place, I'm going to go to this place and see this particular person, go and visit them. And rest of us around will be thinking, but Daddy, we've already made these plans, and you know these things are all scheduled, and Daddy will still try and work out, no, it's possible. And we'll be like, no, there's going to be traffic on the way, and this problem will be there. And but Daddy had have no second thoughts, let's do it. And she will, you know, will get in the car and go and see the particular person that she wants to visit. And it's amazing the how accurate Dadi's decision was, that that particular soul really needed that Dadi, presence of Dadi and Baba at that very moment in life. And the service that then got taken place was of such a different magnitude, you know, such high level that, you know, if when our gap is so huge, then, you know, we can't catch Baba's thoughts. We can't, you know, operate on that unlimited level. We start thinking unlimited and going, there's going to be traffic, there'll be this problem, that problem, we can't do this, you know, and then we let it go. But Dadis didn't operate at that level. There was very little gap, you know, between their level and where their connection with Baba was so strong that truly that's where, you know, whatever they did just created miracles everywhere, the level of clarity. So, you know, I feel, yeah, it's possible, especially, yeah, seeing these great souls in action. So I want to share some of my own experience about how I practice remembrance. And in my early days, I remember asking Sudesh Didi for advice. I said, you know, how can I keep Baba with me during the day? Because, you know, yes, the morning start is a beautiful start with Amrit Vela, Murli, everything. But then I also have, you know, I go into office and do work, which is very technical as well. So Baba's remembrance at that time gets forgotten. And she gave me 3 points, which till today have really guided my day. She said, you know, it's about attitude. You know, I set my attitude at the start of the day. And the three things that, what I recollect from that chat was, one is having the view that all are Baba's children. Whatever I'm doing, wherever I am at, this is Baba's service. And then whatever task I do, let me look at it from spiritual perspective, not from an ordinary perspective. And that spiritual perspective then brings that entertainment and that even deeper connection of Gyan. Like the Murli yesterday, Baba brought this, analogy of a toy, which in a way is so ordinary, but Baba shared such deep, aspects of Gyan just using toy and the key that winds up the toy. And how Baba is now winding up I, the soul, with knowledge, with power, with elevated direction, that then I'm able to perform the dance for 5,000 years, then it, through just that simple change in perspective of a toy for entertainment to a toy holding such deep significance, that, then, yeah, really keeps us connected with that who am I, where am I going, who do I belong to aspects. So I will share with you how my day goes and how I embed remembrance. So, can I get a bit of a feel with a raising hand? And because we're all family here, how many of you get a chance to practice Amrit Vela daily? I know you're already must be, because it's 5 a.m. in India, so you probably are already quite early to rise. Wonderful, beautiful, good. Okay, no, thank you so much for sharing that. So I hope this, for those of you who haven't raised their hand, what I'm sharing today might inspire you to do it and could also give you some guidance on what to do during Amrit Vela. So my personal favorite is what I do is before I sit for Amrit Vela, I read the day's essence from the Murli. I read the blessing. And now there is the Avyakti signal in the Murli. So I read all those three, and then I sit for Amrit Vela. And then my aim in Amrit Vela is to experience what Baba said in those three. I may not remember everything of what I read, but I will find one or two things from there. Like for me today, you haven't heard today's Murli yet, but in the Avyakti signal, Baba talks about the effort Brahma Baba made about being incorporeal, egoless, viceless. So I took that point and I set an Amrit Vela with the aim that I want to experience that stage. And I want to experience it for as long as I can. And I really worked on my concentration to, keep my mind focused in that stage. And it was amazing then later on to listen to the Murli, because in the Murli, Baba was talking about that, about developing concentration. So it was very nice that I was able to give it a go before Baba talking about it. And, then that way Amrit Vela is not just a dry experience, but something that I am then playing with, something that I'm experimenting with, and then new experiences come about. Then I, as the day goes, listening to the Murli. I listen to the Murli, but then what I do from the Murli is I will take one or two lines from the Murli that I will use it as my drill for the day. I was inspired this during my last Madhuban trip. by, I'm not sure many of you know, but so Sister Shireen, who looks after Baba Center in Tampa, I believe she's now also writing a book on this, where she's met with the group that was there and shared with us of how she creates a drill for herself from each day's Murli. And I really love that idea. And since then, I've been doing it. And, I will find one or two lines. Sometimes the lines like Baba are saying exactly, do this as a drill, so they're like very clear. That's what I have to do today. But if it's not there, then I find something and I create. For example, like for me, today's Murli, Baba actually gives two drills to do. One is that, do the drill of saying the Father and I are the eternal points of light in our abode of peace. And, concentrating our mind and intellect to be there for as long as we can. And then the second drill Baba talks about in the Murli today was emerging that stage of being the sun of knowledge and giving the current of Sakash to all the souls, all the elements in the world. Baba saying, just as like the physical sun can dry up the land, create the rain, that's the work we as the master sons of knowledge have to do. So I find a point like that, and then I practice it during the day. And the way I practice is I've actually got this app on my phone called B Zone. How many of you know about the B Zone app? If you don't, I'm going to put it in the chat. You should download
Repeat
it.
the question. Can you repeat the thing? I missed you out there.
The question I was asking, how many of you know about this mobile app called B Zone? There's yes, oh, you know, brother, wonderful. No, so I've just put the words in the chat. It's so if you go on your web browser and type that word b.zone, it will take you to the page from where you can download this app. It's created by Baba's children in UK, and it has a feature for traffic control. It plays, you can choose the type of music. I just have plain music on my phone. So sorry, the app has the music, and you can select songs or, just plain music. And you can set from what time to what time you want the traffic control to play. So mine would, be from 7 till 9. So every hour, it just plays music for 30 seconds. And it's so good, because our phone is always with us. I'm sure that's true for majority, unless, you're in a work where you can't take your phone with you. But nowadays I observe everyone walks around with their phone, so this device, we can use it for our own benefit. And yeah, when the music plays for 30 seconds, I use that to do the drill that I have set for myself. So it's a good way to then practice. Yeah. And, another thing that also helps during the day is something I've learned from, my days in Mumbai, was we go and do service wherever we are, I remember, I'm sure that's continues all around India. It's probably not just true for Mumbai, whether you're on bus or train or your workplaces. Like for me, it was, I was schooling at that time, high school. So, even I remember organizing classes at my tuition class, the teacher from the center came and gave Baba's introduction there. So, this is very common in India, right? We all do it all the time. So that aspect, also really helps sustain wherever we are. So I keep that aim even in my workplace, offering something where souls can experience themselves, souls can experience their connection with the Supreme Soul. And when you do that, when serve the souls that are around you, whether it's at home or at workplaces, then it shifts your conversation with them. I find even from, my young days, then once my friends knew this is what I do, they will only talk to me about certain things. Some things they were like, no, it's not really appropriate to discuss this with me, and they'll leave it aside. So then that starts to then protect us, and also their vision towards us is very different. So that also then acts as a very beautiful form of protection for us, so I would encourage that, if possible, do create, share the spiritual knowledge wherever you are, because in that service is also your service. And then that much, it's much like this advice that Sudeshwari gave, that all are Baba's children. We can truly, it comes more naturally. Yes, they are all Baba's children.
So can I just ask you something?
Yes.
See, when you spoke, let me tell you, remembrance for a person who surrendered, who's like you, who has got, we do not have any other routine, but just get up, read the Murli, do the spiritual things where everything is spiritual, is absolutely different than for a person like a householder who thinks. So I always, I have earlier, I used to feel, oh, why I'm not surrendered. But honestly, ask me till this moment, I never feel it. I never feel, I feel that's just a role they are doing. They are surrendered and they're remembering, hey, you can remember, God said you can remember me even like that. So what I feel is, I agree with your reading. That's what, when I remember, I was brought up when I was young, I used to go to a convent. There were three things they used to say in order to really be close to God. And this is what the nuns used to practice when they were in retreat. First is reading the word of the Lord. Just word of the Lord. So I take it as God's wisdom. You called it as murli or points. Second is keep talking to him. I said, where are you? Come here, Papa. Sit. So, that constant talking. So first is reading the word of Lord. What happens? It gives you a foundation. You won't think of impure things or
That's
wrong
Murli
things.
for us, right? It's the
Yeah,
Murli.
that was Murli,
Yeah.
correct. So that is one thing. Secondly, I feel keep talking to him.
That's
And even
beautiful.
mundane tasks, I'll give you an example. See, as I was sitting and I was boiling the milk, suddenly the milk flew. I said, Baba, where were you? I was just there. Couldn't you stop the milk? That kind of what we call it is even in mundane tasks to remember him. So it keeps you so close to him. So I agree with you. All these other things which you spoke of, B zone or listening to this, they are all methods. They're all just the technique of meditation. And we Rajyogis should be very proof. Yesterday, when we read the Murli, that was a very lovely Murli of 20th March 87. Baba said the world likes one thing in Raj Yoga is remembrance. How do
Mm.
they remember God? So that is
Wonderful. Thank you, sister. That's so
no,
lovely.
it is there in the 20th March
Yeah,
1987
yeah,
movie. They
yeah.
say everything is good. They say they like remembrance. Fine, that is there. But I find this is what I need. Like, see, when one thing I remember, if you
So,
sleep in the
sister,
night,
I think what we
tap,
will do is maybe towards the end we will open up for more comments, because otherwise we won't get to go through it. But really beautiful what you shared. And I loved this analogy of using Baba. You remind me of my Lockheed mother. She does exactly the same thing. And I joke with her. I'm like, yeah, sure. Baba did not have anything better to do than look after your milk, not, for like spilling over. But yes, that's such a good yukti to keep remembering. And you know, like you, she always says, yes, that's what Baba does. He does come and fix, you know, when recipes don't go out right. And I agree with both of you. It's really, that's why Baba loves mothers, you know, the sweet, beautiful ways that you, connect with Baba. So I hope that's okay. I'm just going to share a little bit. I know they will open up for more questions and comments. So talked about service. Then the last thing I was going to suggest was the chart at the end of the day. I know Baba talks a lot about the chart. And in the chart, one simple technique I have created for myself, if you remember a while back, Baba said, you know, just write okay. So I even made it shorter than that. So at the end of the day, I check myself on two things. One, how much did my remembrance increase? So I just put a plus if it increased, or if it did not increase, it decreased, it was minus. And how much was I able to transform myself? And in the same way, I'll do a plus or a minus. And then check, you know, okay, for the week or month, did I accumulate, or was it all debit, debit, debit? Yeah. And last thing I want to share in terms of embedding this in the remembrance in the daily life is this aspect. It is Baba's service, Baba's children, and Baba's path. No matter like whether, like as Sister Girija said, whether you're at home or like me, you've also got, you know, responsibility for Baba's service, and also Lokik work to go and do. In all these aspects, keeping that vision then helps me, you know, not see anyone in that ordinary way. And another thing that I find it very sustaining at the end of the day as I go to bed, sometimes I do it after Amrit Vela as well, is I take a lot of sustenance from Avyakti Parivar. I'm not sure how many of you know about it. Sister Mohini, who is now the administrative head of the Brahma Kumaris, she does daily, you know, which on YouTube, it's available on Zoom if you want to connect, or I listen to it on YouTube. And now her classes are short, you know, 10, 15 minutes, but they act such a powerful checking for me around how my thinking should be, what my attitude should be like. And they act along with Baba's Murli and the experiment with Baba's Murli, that wisdom of that experienced soul, and of course her own connection with Baba, influencing that really then helps set the course. And as I go to bed, you know, I practice that, yes, the day has wrapped up. The soul, I go to my home, to the land of peace, as this point of light, and then, yeah, you know, be in that soul conscious stage and have a very restful sleep for another beautiful day in the drama and creating a good stage for the next one to come. So that's how my remembrance in the daily life kind of looks like. I hope that has given you some ideas. I know there are some comments in the chat, which I can cover in this next segment as well. Yeah, so I will pause here. So, brother, do you want me to just respond to the comments and the questions, or you want to do anything different?
Since you want me to read, or
Oh, I'm happy to just read and respond if that's easier.
yeah, this is all you know, some of the response that you the questions that you have asked, and most of them have replied.
Yeah.
So Ombai said Manasa Seva, especially during Amrit Vela. Sit for Amrit Vela every day, but end to fall asleep Pramila sister said, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I can respond to that one. I used to feel the same Amritvela time. Sometimes even in the evening meditation, I would feel sleepy. And the reason for myself, when I asked, hey, where that sleep comes from, often it was two things. One was, the tiredness of the mind. The mind had done a lot of overthinking, either the day before or the night before. I did not have a very restful sleep because my mind just kept thinking. So, the way to tackle that overthinking is really through, creating that positive, powerful thought during the day. And for me, this traffic control and drills really help keep that in check. That if things happen where my mind then gets worked up and I start, creating a lot of thoughts, then the drill become powerful break to once again stabilize in the awareness of who I really am and that connection with Baba, who I belong to. The second aspect of sleepiness, for myself, what I found was, I did not engage in remembrance. I would sit there, but my mind is wandering. My mind is thinking about, okay, something's happened or something I need to do, and I just keep thinking and thinking. So at that time, also, exercising that muscle to once again bring that back and using concentration to focus on the mind. I know you probably all understand Hindi. We've got such lovely songs. We can blend. Baba also often in the Murli says, use songs, can play a song and use the song to guide my thoughts, really connect with the songs, create that feeling for yourself. And as then the soul starts to feel light and happy, and then for the soul then to focus and concentrate on Baba is that much easier. So yeah, does that help? Does that make sense, Camilla?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
took time to find the button. No, thank you for that. But is it also the age? Because I find I'm doing it more often nowadays.
Yeah, it
Hello.
could be. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, could be also medication. Sometimes I find like, some medications do that to you. But what I would say is it's good you're aware that it happens, and then bring yourself back to keep engaging your mind, and maybe get up and do something different and then come back.
Okay. But maybe what you say is true. I mean, I spend a lot of time reading the Murlis, and I know it shouldn't make one tired, but if there's so much to be done, sometimes it happens.
Mm.
But there's
Yes.
also the medication, as you say, the medicines that I take for, I think that also makes me sleepy.
Mm. Mm.
Also,
Yep.
the classes go on till quite late at night, so it reduces the time that you have to sleep. So I think many factors which are playing a role.
So yeah, that's a good point. And that's where, be discerning about where you give your time and energy to. Don't like nowadays with so much available to us, we feel like we have to do everything. But I feel the most important thing is Baba's Murli and the timetable Baba had set for me. Everything else is whatever I can fit in with, um, what what I want to experience. So yeah, just be selective.
Yeah, that's what I try to do, but still there are certain things which need to be fitted in. So
Fair enough. Yeah.
I may want to
it's
just
choice.
add on something here, Amiben. Can I do
Yes.
that?
Yes, please.
One is we talking about getting on to sleep while we are meditating. Okay? Uh, I'll share one of my experience in the initial days while I used to listen to Murlis because when I got in first time in 2013 to learn Raj Yoga, it wasn't very easy, as I mentioned to you on the call as well, for me to go to the center and listen to Murlis and things around because I used to leave early for work. But at the end of the day, when I used to listen to Murli from mobile, in the early days, I used to go off to sleep. And I used to wonder why is it happening? And there was a doubt because is that something which I'm not providing and I'm not able to listen to it? But while I was having this conversation with one of the senior brothers under whom I was getting sustenance over the phone, he said only one thing: take it easy.
Mm.
Take it easy.
Beautiful advice. Yeah.
Maybe your soul at this point of time requires this soothing to have that stage to get prepared for you to get it. And just see the Moodly is allowing you to go back to that soothing and sleeping space. So just enjoy the journey in the initial space. Don't put any pressure on yourself that this is to be done this particular way. And I think I got my first lesson to connect with Moodly is in that way. And of course, then the journey started back in 2017, 2018. And getting onto Amrit Vela was a bigger task for me because I could never get up at 4 in the morning. And I remember one of the sisters from the center who took my Raj Yoga for the second time. She told me, just start with 1 minute, sister.
Mm.
And I started my Amrit Vela from there. It's been 2 years, 2.5, 3 years now that this has been a routine. Even if I sleep at 1 o'clock in the night, I will wake up at 4 o'clock. It may not be a 30 minutes Amrit Vela, but it will be an Amrit Vela, which is a schedule for the day. It may be 5 minutes,
Mm.
10 minutes if my body is tired. But that happens. I say my biological clock is on.
Mm.
So
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah.
take it easy is something which
Yeah.
uh, something which got me right there.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, sister. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Oh, there's another question here asking about how do I apply altruistic way in my business? Baba, Sakar Baba was also a businessman. In Sakar Muli's, Baba gives so many tips on this. And the one that I remember recently, Baba was talking about, one is having that attitude that this is not yours, but it's Baba's. So convert the mind into yours. And then secondly, also when I do it with that view of, okay, I will, like, I think in the Sakaramurli, Baba used the line that in those days, the profit percentage was 25%, I believe, what was said. And so having the view of, okay, what that is going to be enough for you, and then not getting too greedy about having more. And all these aspects then helps us keep things in balance. And we can do whatever we need to do with ease. So yeah, do it with the view of it's Baba's and that you're doing it as a service.
Shanti, sister. Yeah, I'm. Yes, there's in last first December Murli, Baba talk about the three lines of remembrance, purity, and true server.
Mm.
Though that in that I got this point of altruistic way, altruistic personality. So that I like very much. So that's I want to apply in my. Also, I am doing online business, so serving people, giving them education or communication skills. So that I want to apply. So that's what I have prepared my almost the blueprint. I said that I want to implement and want to do. This is a very wonderful thing that I got from Murli. So it's a daily. I can remember Baba also, and there is service. I can put more effort in service doing. So that I want to
Wonderful.
implement.
Wonderful. Thank
As a
you.
true server.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, it's so lovely to meet all my fellow brothers and sisters today on this Zoom down. Thank you for creating the opportunity, and yeah, very nice. Thank you for sharing, BKM, in the chat about your practice. So I think we conclude now, isn't it, brother?
In my experience, I want to share my experience that.
Actually, brother, I think we have run out of time now. Maybe we'll have
Okay,
to
okay, no.
share experience
Agree.
through another in another day.
Sister, let's
Yeah,
get into a couple of minutes short meditation before we
Yeah.
close the class. Yeah.
Okay.
yes.
But so beautiful to converse with everyone. So let's practice the drill for today. I invite you to take one thought and step into the awareness that I am a soul, a shining, radiant star. I'm a very fortunate soul. I am a lucky star. I am a powerful soul. I now travel to my home, the region of red light, and here I meet with my sweet Baba, the eternal light. I meet my Father and I receive this rays of light, this rays of peace, rays of love, rays of power. I receive this light from Baba, and I, the Master Son of Knowledge, I merge our world and I share the current of this with our world. I and Baba share this love and light with our world, my family. Holding this power, this lightness, I prepare to bring my awareness back in this room, in this conversation. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Sister, it was really wonderful. So on behalf of everyone, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, sister, for gifting us such a powerful and enlightening session on this topic of remembrance. Your words, sister, were not just the talk, they were an experience, and the clarity and the simplicity that the depth of which you explained remembrances really touched me, and I'm sure all of us. So thank you for wonderful tips and techniques on how remembrance can be made easy. Your practical life, reading Murli, setting your aim before sitting for remembrance, right? It all really wonderful. So it was good to hear your practice drill chart, your daily schedule, sister. So we are truly grateful for the time you shared with us today. So we will carry forward these insights and apply them in our day-to-day life. Thank you once again, sister, for enlightening us. We look forward to meet you again in future. With that, we close the session today. Thank you everyone for joining this session with so much enthusiasm. So we will connect again tomorrow at 5 a.m. So until then, all have a wonderful day. Om Shanti.
Thank you all. Have a good day. Om Shanti.